I think that by now, most people know that having good habits is good and having bad habits is bad. But for the longest time in my life, I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to actually get rid of a bad habit and how to actually implement a good habit so that it sticks, so that I can actually stay consistent with it and not keep falling off track. And it really took me years to finally learn that in order to make a good habit stick in your life, it needs to be something that you genuinely want to do. It needs to be something natural. Because if you're forcing yourself to do a good habit, like meditation, for example, if you're forcing yourself to meditate, then that might work for a week or two. It might even work for a month. But eventually you need to get to the point where you genuinely want to meditate just because that's who you are as a person. Because the longer you force yourself to do a habit that you don't really want to do, eventually that's going to drain your willpower, you're going to burn out, and then you're going to quit. So this is what happened to me when I first discovered personal development. I remember I was 16 years old and I had the worst habits that basically anyone could have. I would play video games for 12 hours a day. I would eat mainly pizza and chocolate. That was my favorite food. And I would watch porn like 5 or 6 times a day sometimes. I would smoke weed regularly. And I had basically like the worst habits that any human could have. And that's pretty normal for a 16-year-old boy. But I discovered that having these bad habits didn't make me feel good. I felt like I was just staying in my comfort zone all day and that my life was basically rotting away. I wasn't really making anything of myself. That made me feel depressed. So eventually I discovered personal development. One of my favorite teachers, Leo from actualize.org, when I first discovered his content, he talks about meditation and personal development and implementing good habits and shadow work and programming your subconscious mind and all this stuff. I never even heard of this stuff before. So I was super excited. I watched like all of his videos and I had a long list of all the habits that I wanted to implement. I had meditation, exercise, eating healthy, self-inquiry, shadow work, yoga, visualization, affirmations. There was a ton of habits that I had on my laundry list to implement, but I found that eventually I would just burn out. I would fill up my schedule with all these new habits, and eventually I would burn out. I would quit, get overwhelmed, and I would just end up back right where I started, playing video games and eating chocolate while I'm masturbating. That was my ground zero, my comfort zone. So after a long period of trial and error, after years of hitting my head against the wall, failing over and over again to actually stay consistent with my habits, I discovered that in order to get a habit to stick, you need to actually want to do it. It needs to be something natural and effortless for you. So today I'm going to share with you the 7 habits that I can't live without. These are 7 things that I do pretty much every single day. And the key is that I don't have to force myself to do these habits. This is not something that I need to put into my schedule and make sure that I do it. This is something effortless. This is something natural. And that really is the only way to get a habit to stick. To make it something that it's just part of who you are. I just want to do these things. I don't have to force myself to do it. I do these habits because I like it. It actually just makes me feel good. And that was the key lesson I had to learn in order to get them to stick. So the first habit that I can't live without is meditation. And trust me, I've tried to live without it, but I find it's impossible. Because whenever in my life when I'm not meditating consistently every single day, I find that everything goes to complete shit. My life turns into total chaos if I don't practice meditation for minimum 20 or 30 minutes every single day. Everything just falls apart. My business doesn't make any money. I get into arguments with my girlfriend. I have no self-control at all. I just sit on my couch all day and play video games. If I'm not meditating, nothing goes well, is what I've found. So for me, meditation is something that I don't have to force myself to do. I don't have to whip myself into a frenzy just so that I can sit down. Meditation is something that I genuinely want to do. It's something that's effortless. And if you think about what meditation is, it's literally just taking some time to sit down and to be quiet. And to not always need to exert effort to achieve goals in your life. You're just taking 20 or 30 minutes just to stop. Just to create some space to reflect and to be present. This is something that I personally can't live without. I have a very, very active mind, and if I don't take some time every day to be aware of my thoughts, then what happens is that my mind just runs like loose, like a monkey in a zoo that's been injected with Ritalin or whatever. I'm just like banging on the cages of my mind. It's very overactive if I don't meditate. And if your mind is not on a leash, you don't have control over your mind by being aware of it and witnessing it. If you don't have this witnessing capability, then your whole life is going to go to shit because your life is a reflection of your mind. Like, you know how when your bedroom is a mess, usually your mind is a mess as well. And usually your life is a mess as well. So if I can organize my mind just by sitting and just reflecting and calming down, giving some space to be aware of my thoughts, then my whole day just goes a lot easier. So every morning I meditate for minimum 30 minutes. Sometimes, most of the time I do it for longer though. And I do it just because I like it. It helps me calm down. I feel good. In the beginning, it wasn't really like that. In the beginning, it was difficult to meditate. It was a lot of the time I thought I was doing it wrong. My mind was very overactive. But over time, with practice, I got good at it. And now I really can't live without it, or else everything just goes to shit, like I said. So the second habit that I definitely can't live without is exercise and going for walks outside. This is like, I find if I don't exercise, my energy is totally ungrounded, where I have all this excess energy, and normally what I used to do is I just put it into video games and porn. But I find that when I actually exercise, I do push-ups, I do rocket jumps, which is like jump squats, I do burpees, pull-ups at the park, I do some bicep curls, sit-ups, all these just basic exercises. I do this daily, and it just really helps me ground my energy, and I find my mind is a lot more calm when I get a good workout in. So I don't work out to have big muscles. I work out to level my energy. And this is so important. Again, it's not something I have to force myself to do, or I have to put it in my schedule like, oh, I have to go to the gym. No, I just do it. I just exercise. I just start doing push-ups. start doing burpees. Like, you don't have to make it a big deal. I just do it because I like it. Just go for a walk. I don't have to put it in my schedule, go for a walk. I just go. The keys with these habits is that it's something effortless and natural, something you actually want to do because you like it. Not that you have to do, not that you force yourself to do it, you just do it. So exercise is a really key for me. Also, reading and learning. This is something I really can't live without. Every single night before I go to bed, I read a few pages of a book. And during the day I definitely read every single night, but during the day I prefer to listen to like YouTube videos, audiobooks. This is just something that needs to happen for me, because if I don't have the right information, the right map for living, then I'm not going to be able to live properly. So I'm always learning something. I'm always learning about spirituality, meditation, marketing, business, science, politics, history. I'm always learning about something just because I like to learn. And I find the more I learn, the smarter I get. Who would have thought, right? And the smarter I get, the easier my life goes and the more value I can add to other people's lives. Which brings us to the next habit that I can't live without, which is creating some kind of art and sharing it. So my art right now is just talking to the camera. This is what I've been doing for a few years now, and in the future I'm going to be I think I want to make some skits, like comedy skits, and I also want to make like movies and like presentations, but in general, my art is just speaking to the camera and sharing positivity with the world in some creative way. That's something I really can't live without. If I go for a month without making a video, I just feel like there's just so much wisdom in me that isn't being shared, and I just feel terrible about myself. So having the habit of creating some piece of art, could be an Instagram post, could be a YouTube video, could be a poem that I write, but making something and sharing it is something that really keeps my whole life together. Because then honestly, like if I wasn't putting out my energy and I wasn't sharing it with the world, there would really be no reason for me to meditate or to exercise or to read books or to do all these other habits, because I'd really have no reason to show up as the best version of myself. If I wasn't making any art, it would be so easy for me to just like play video games all day and just drink beer and smoke weed all day. And so, some days I want to do that, but if I don't have this habit of creation, actually sharing with other people, then there's no reason to be the best version of myself. I find it's really satisfying for me to create some beautiful piece of art and just to stand back and just look at it, right? When I make videos, I'm the one that's watching them back. If you watch my videos and you like them, that's probably because I like them. I like watching them back. I like watching myself talk. Maybe because I'm a narcissist, or maybe just because it feels good that I'm seeing myself put good energy out there, right? And it's something that's very effortless now for me. I just like doing it, and I just keep doing it. Another habit that I can't live without is journaling. It's something that, again, I don't have to force myself to do. It just helps me keep my mind organized, right? When I go to bed at night, I just write down what I need to do the next day, just 3 things I need to do. Whenever I feel like I need to get clear about something, I'll just get out a journal with a pencil. I'll write out a video idea that I have, or a coaching thing that I need to talk about. Journaling is just something that, it's just like your mind on paper. So for me, it's just very necessary just to keep myself organized. So I don't really have to force myself to do it. I just do it. Some days I don't, some days I do. And that's the thing with these habits. I think the ego really has this tendency to co-opt personal development. Obviously, when we first start doing personal development, the ego thinks like, oh, I'm going to become the best version of myself, and then I'm going to rule the world. I'm going to get so much money and fame and sex and connections and everything because I'm going to be so personally developed. But I find that when the ego wants to implement a habit, it usually doesn't work because you're doing it in a forceful way where you want to go to the gym. So you tell yourself every single day, I'm going to go to the gym for 2 hours. And then you get burned out and then you quit. These habits, they need to be something genuine. You genuinely want to do it. You don't have to force yourself to do it. I've said this a million times this video, but this is such an important point that took me years and years of hitting my head up against the wall to understand this point. The habit itself is not that important. It's not important. The habit should be an outgrowth of who you are as a person. If I have trouble doing meditation, for example, that's because I'm someone who doesn't value meditation. Meditation is effortless if you're someone who actually cares about it. Same with all these other habits. The next habit that I can't live without is just having fun and just enjoying my life and relaxing. This is so important. A lot of people don't see this as a habit, but especially when we start doing personal development, we can be so serious about our life. We think that we're always in work mode. Right? You got to do schoolwork, got to do homework, got to do actual work. I got to do meditation. I got to read. It's like your life becomes a job. Remember, guys, your life isn't a job. Your life should be fun, should be playful. Your life should be enjoyable, right? The point of life is to enjoy it, actually have a good time here. We've spent thousands of years to actually craft a society where, like, I live in Canada, so I have a government, there's houses, there's roads. So our society's pretty safe. Now, might as well enjoy the safety that we've created for ourselves, this freedom. By implementing all these rules and regulations, all these laws, we've created a lot of freedom for ourselves. I could go to the store and buy some food. I could go to the park. I could go watch a movie, right? So it's important to actually just enjoy life. So what I do is the first half of my day I work, which means I do all my habits, I create something, I coach clients, and then in the second half of my day I relax. I listen to music, I dance, I go for a walk with my girlfriend, we talk, I eat dinner. What else do I do to relax? I like watching movies as well. Sometimes I go to the movie theaters. I just watched The Batman, which is an awesome movie. I recommend it. So having fun and relaxing is so important just because, remember, life is to be lived. It's not a job that you need to do, but it's an experience you need to have. And then the last habit that I can't live without is eating fruits and vegetables. This is so important. If I don't eat salad or vegetables of some kind, then I feel like my body's dying. I feel like I have no energy, basically. So eating foods like vegetables and fruit, it's very energizing, and I just like it. Again, so a lot of people feel like they have to force themselves to eat fruits and veggies. But if you actually just eat a fucking apple, if you actually eat an apple, you realize they actually taste pretty good. If you eat a banana, you're like, oh wow, I don't have to force myself to eat this. It naturally tastes good. right? Yesterday I had some kiwis. I was eating the kiwis and I was like, damn, why would I not eat this? It's very tasty. Same with salad, right? If you make a good salad, I make vegetable soup. Sometimes I make stir fry with rice and veggies. When you eat it, you realize, oh wait, healthy food actually tastes good. Isn't that interesting? So that goes to my point. I don't have to force myself to eat healthy. I just eat healthy because I like the way healthy food tastes. And that's who I am. And when I eat chocolate, which I do sometimes, I eat like chocolate or chips, right? When I eat that, I realize that, yeah, it tastes good in my mouth, but then my stomach hurts and I feel foggy and cloudy after, so there's no reason to continue doing this. All right, guys, those are the 7 habits that I can't live without. Meditation, exercise, reading and learning, creating, journaling, having fun, and eating fruits and veggies. All right, the key is that I don't have to like think about doing these things. I just do them because that's what works for me. And I don't have to worry if I don't do it. Like one day, if I don't exercise, I don't have to like worry about it. I just do it again tomorrow. Or if, one day I miss my meditation, which I rarely do, I just do it before I go to bed, or I just do it right now, because that's the key with meditation, is I just do it right now. If I don't eat fruits and veggies today, I'll do it tomorrow. Like it's really not a huge deal. That's the key. When you make it a huge deal, when you put these habits on a pedestal, when you tell yourself, I have to take a cold shower every single morning or else I suck, right? When that's your attitude, you're not really acting consciously, you're acting unconsciously. You're just forcing yourself to do things that you don't want to do. Now, that being said, I like taking cold showers. It's very refreshing. It gets me focused and clear. So when I do take a cold shower, I do it because I want to, not because I have to. All right? So the attitude I'm promoting here is just consciously choose what you're doing because you realize that it's good for you, and don't force yourself to do these habits. It's really not necessary. Just whenever you're acting unconsciously, when you're like going through the motions of your exercise routine, for example, you'll find you don't even get as good results. If you actually go to the gym and you exercise just because you want to be there and you just want to exercise and you're actually there, then you'll find you actually get a lot better results. Your body is a lot more functional when you use it functionally. Whereas most people, they just go to the gym as like just a check. Like it's just like unconscious. It's not necessary. All right, guys, that's all I had to say here. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, and I will see you in the next video. Wait, before I go, actually, what helps a lot with this stuff is the witnessing video that I just made, so check that out. If you want more help with implementing, I found that the best way to implement new habits into my life is just to be the witness of my life and not be so attached to the outcome of everything that I do. I just am present in the moment. So check out the last video I made, which is the benefits of witnessing. That's going to actually help you a lot with implementing these good habits and getting rid of bad habits. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next one.